There are just so many Ninjago mysteries out there from every season, but one that stood out to me as one of the biggest was the royal family. A royal family within Ninjago that lived their lives privately. Although they were revealed and introduced to the story way back in 2018, to this day we still know basically nothing about them, which is why today we are going to be attempting to solve Ninjago's biggest mystery. Now, these guys basically popped up in Season 8 and were introduced as a way to properly introduce Harumi. Now, these guys were also shown to live in a very private way, which is why we maybe didn't know much about them beforehand within Ninjago, because, I mean, a royal family within Ninjago, you'd imagine that it would be a pretty major thing, and we didn't hear or see them for 7 seasons prior to that, so it is kind of strange already that they didn't pop up or weren't shown. But the main issue with them at hand here is the fact that they just felt very plot convenient. A royal family, although they may live privately as the show suggested, it is just kind of strange how we wouldn't have seen or at least heard of them mentioned for 7 seasons before that. A royal family is a pretty big part about any kind of country or a city like Ninjago or anything like that, so it's just kind of strange that there was no mention of them, even if they did live privately. But then it gets worse. After Season 8, they just disappeared again, and there was, again, no mention of the royal family, what happened, and how they basically continued on. There was just nothing. They were just around for a little brief period of time in Season 8, and then that was really it. There was no other mention of them. Now, this does, of course, bring up so many mysteries surrounding them, such as, well, how were they even established? How were they even a thing? Because, you know, there was no mention of them in Ninjago's history, like there was for lots of other aspects of the show, so it's kind of strange that they just were not mentioned at all. And, you know, what happened after is the other big question here, the main big question. You'd think we would have had some kind of, maybe, reference again towards what happened to them and how they continued after the very terrible events of the Oni trilogy, but so far, all of these years later, simply nothing. We don't know anything about them, which is a real shame, and I think that if we really want to just quickly dive in and solve everything here, it was entirely just plot convenience, and there's really not much to it, because it's really hard to even try and explain all of this from a community point of view, because we don't know how they were even established. There was no mention of them in the past. There was nothing in Ninjago's history about them. They weren't mentioned. Afterwards, absolutely nothing. We haven't seen any kind of signs of them within Ninjago. Nothing like that either. So they were literally just kind of there in the Oni trilogy and mainly Season 8. And then after that, nothing. They just vanished. So I think it is just safe to assume that our safest answer here would be plot convenience in a way. They were just kind of thrown in there to help make Harumi feel a bit more established. And yeah, I think unfortunately our only proper solid answer and conclusion to this is plot convenience, which is unfortunately how a lot of Ninjago mysteries go. But hey, it is what it is. I guess we don't need to look too deep into it. They existed, and maybe they just aren't really a thing anymore. They kind of got rid of that whole royal family system ever since that. So yeah, maybe that's our answer, but mainly, I think plot convenience is kind of to blame. With this being said, be sure to drop your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts regarding all of this. If you did enjoy today's video, please do consider dropping a like on it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as we are so close to 2,000 subscribers. I'd love to reach that goal by the end of the month. You don't want to miss out on any future Ninjago content. Please also consider turning on notifications. And yeah, I will see you all very, very soon in my next video. Goodbye.